wanted to know the approach with which, I start the search, and how do I exactly go about it? How do I approach the companies, and from where do I start?
Okay,
That
so you
is the
worked
first
with
question.
more than a decade. Sure, sure. So
Yeah,
you worked for
yeah,
more than a decade, right? Yeah. And
yeah, that's right.
it all depends on what you want to do next. Do you want to continue where you started? Do you want to actually take a U-turn in your career and want to do something completely new? And based on what you want to do, and there are multiple approaches to all the things that you want to do, right? So it's not one designed scientific approach. There are multiple options which are open. The world is very, very open in nature right now. So in terms of what you want to do next, if you have identified
I,
that, well and good. If you're figuring that out, that also we can, kind of have a conversation around that.
yeah, I want to get back into software testing, because I have around 13 years of experience already.
Sure.
So that is the
And you
first
haven't
option
had
which
a
I'm
large, sure, sure, sure. So Soumya, you haven't
sorry.
had a large amount of a gap, right? So it's a short stint of a gap that you had. It's not
Yeah,
too much of a gap as well. So how
yeah,
I function, or if I were in your place, I would really take some time to actually go connect with the people that you've worked with. Or if
mm-hmm.
at all you have your peer set of people who have joined some other company, who have seen your work, who have seen you as a performer, and somebody who have mentored you in your job, maybe the senior engineering managers, or the QA directors and the engineering directors who have been your stakeholders, who have witnessed your performance. So, kind of being back into their community, being back into the connect with them and talking to them, and getting to know what's happening in that world, and either joining back the previous organization, that also depends on the open positions or not, but definitely building that connect very strongly, and is when you can actually get a path to go. And then the peer set of companies who would have also quit the roles, like let's say 2015, whoever was until 2015, whoever was your colleague, and where are they now? So LinkedIn, Facebook, Jobs for Her are the various connects that you can make use of to begin with. But at least meeting them over a coffee and trying to know, hey, what are you up to, and what are the opportunities? Can you recommend? And all of these. So all these approaches are the combination of approaches that you can. There's no one particular one, but always people watching for your performance who have worked with you holds a very strong, weightage.
I have my second question. Like, for example, as you said, yeah, I have the first option as the software testing, which I want to go back to. But I would like to keep a second option, probably, as I was interested to get into this HR field, which I have not worked from before. Probably I don't have any experience in the HR field, or something else, which would something like some other work from home option or something like that, which is not software
Yeah, if you're
testing
preferring,
necessarily.
sure, sure. If you're preferring
So
a
how
work
do I
from
look at
home
those
option,
options if I want to no, if I want to do something other than software testing, which I don't have experience in, then how do I approach?
So the approach is, see, there are opportunities which are work from home recruitment opportunities, right? So, talk to those HRs that you have come in contact with so far, right? Who have seen you as a
Okay.
testing engineer. So if at all you are able to talk to them and saying that, let's say, so there are multiple technology hiring freelance companies itself, right? If you can pick up the assignments and sit at home, you understand the engineering requirements very well. You understand the front end and back end and manual testing, automation testing, what is Selenium. These kind of positions, if there are companies which are hiring for, you will be the immediate one to understand that and close and get connected to your own network, right? Whichever makes you immediate successful, which brings that adrenaline in you, and you can also kind of this is something where you don't have to struggle to prove your credibility. So again, so HR, if you're working from home, it ought to be a recruitment. So otherwise, it needs to be a very academic HR, which is a learning and development. That's a very a documentation kind of a work, which you academically do not have at this point in time. So HR and recruitment, if you consider to be a similar one, but if you ask me, they're like little different. But if I suppose that you want to do something in terms of the talent, right? So try to get in touch with people who are ready to offer freelance recruitment for especially technology open positions. So that's where you can actually prove your credibility faster because you understand that space.
Okay,
Great.
so in HR, you recommend this thing, recruitment part of it.
Yeah, because other HRs are supposed to be, if you are an employee of a company and if you wanted to meet your HR, if that HR is working from home always, you would want to see them, right? Human resources are the ones who are supposed to be working with humans. Unless you are into learning and development, who can actually build the learning and development methods, processes, strategies at the back end. That is a little far-fetched because you do not come with that experience at this point in time. Right, so to be exposed to that area, to test it out for yourself, recruitment is a sure shot one and a low hanging fruit.
Okay.
Especially recruitment in the technology is a low hanging fruit because you understand that space.
Sure, Vani. Thank you.
Thanks, Vani. I think we're getting a couple of questions in the chat window. One is from our Facebook page where a woman's asking, I've been on a break for 8 years now. Are there any assessments that I can take to know what my fundamental skills are?
Can you repeat that, please?
I have been on a break for 8 years now. Are there any assessments that I can take to know what my fundamental skills are?
I got that. So, hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So the assessment testing, you can definitely go ahead and take up tests in Coursera and all of that. There are many actually. There are like hundreds of them. The talent sprints where you can actually see where your aptitude is and things like that. It also depends on what you want to do. So if you have figured out what you want to do, there are testing platforms online where you want to take it up. So what I recommend for people after break is, based on your interest directions, take up courses in Coursera and similar kind of, Purple Leap, and there is another platform, Pearson, which also allows you to take up certifications and testing. Simply Learn is there, and but that is purely out of what you want to do. But if you want to generally evaluate your own skills as to what is the right one for you, I think that pick up those areas which are making you interested. In those areas, if you take up these online courses and then evaluate yourself how you're able to do it, I think that will give you a bit of direction. So Coursera is something that is pretty interesting, and Simply Learn also is coming up with certain things like that.
Great. I think we've got one more question in the chat window from Aarti. Aarti, can you just unmute yourself and ask this question directly to Vani?
Hello? Hello, I'm not able to hear Aarti.
No, we are not able to hear either. So she's again put up the question on the chat window. It says, I'm a software developer with 3 years of experience, currently on a break of around 1 year. I'm all set to get back to work. I had applied for many jobs via portals and I even got a couple of interviews. One company rejected me, telling that I'm overqualified, and another company hasn't called back after interview, even after multiple follow-ups. I've started working part-time as a content writer along with my job hunt. As writing has always been my passion. I'm enjoying my role as a content writer. I'm looking for a job either as a software developer or as a content writer. Do you have any suggestions on how I'm taking my job hunt forward?
Okay, so one is again, there is no one particular approach. There are multiple of them. So continue. So if at all your interest areas are in both of these areas, so I would say, high risk and IM jobs are the ones who will have both tech and the non-tech spaces. So you can also look at that. But those are again the non-woman specific, right? Like jobs for her, if you're using that, see the kind of job postings that they are there, right? So see the kind of, so one is the approach of online spaces. One is, you're already exposed to jobs for her. Another is actually putting your online credibility is in such a way that you are searchable and reachable for multiple people, either through Facebook or your own tweet or your own LinkedIn. So if at all you build your LinkedIn profile in a way where it is immediately searchable for the apt kind of opportunities, that is another way to look at it. So, and I'm sure you would have figured out, if it is a content writer, why do you want to do the content writing and what kind of companies they are. So first figuring out what you want to do and what kind of companies, and filtering down those 10 to 15 companies where you think you are the apt fit, and building the connects around that. Actually talking and being vocal around it will lead you to that particular direction. And take up some content writing online freelance assignments also. There are multiple opportunities which are there online as well, which are, it's like testing your own ability. I'm saying that I'm interested in this. I think I can do a good job. Why don't I take up an assignment around it? If all you have, when it is a content writing, have you written a blog? Try to publicize that blog as much as possible. Use jobs for her itself to publicize your own blog, all of that. So the community itself, if at all you can send if at all you are saying that you are interested in content writing, share that content as much as possible to as many people as possible that you know, and take the feedback. Then you will know whether is that the right direction for you or not. So thinking about I want to aspire this is one, but trying to do something around it on and on again to actually publicize your interest is another one. So see if you have actually done the latter and what is the kind of feedback that you've got, and then that will actually give you whether am I in the right direction or not. I wish I could have heard her, because I wanted to definitely get a sense.
Well, she's showing online. Aarti, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question? Any other question that you may have?
Hi Vanishri, this is Kushali here from Jobs for Her. And
Hi,
Aarti
Kushali.
has been very active ambassador of Jobs for Her, and she is also a content writer. She keeps publishing most of her work. She has a blog page. She's
Awesome.
very active on social media. So she's
Awesome.
doing all of this, but yeah, still
Okay.
the right thing is not clicking for her.
So all the platforms wherever she wants to approach, right? So there is no one particular thing, right? Jobs for Her and a couple of them that I mentioned are not the only ones, right? Like trying out, testing out, trying to attend these startup events, trying to understand what's happening there, and then coming back and writing is another thing. So in all those areas, like when you want to say you're a content writer, in what specific field you want to be a content writer. If at all she wants to be a generalist content writer, she can go and attend the events, all little bigger events and all of the community events across these areas. Or if she is specifically looking at that, then let's say startup, right? Let's say startup, food tech startup or something like that. There are multiple events where she can go and attend all of that and try to learn a lot, and that will also help her get the network right. And content media marketing is all about networking. So she needs to be heard. She needs to be speaking it out, not only through her writings, but also by building the active network. And then all the other platforms, right? Like all the other job platforms. And LinkedIn, how her LinkedIn page looks, that itself needs to be revisited and stuff like that.
Okay, I think Nirishwari has a question. Nirishwari, do you want to ask a question directly?
Yeah, hello. I'm Nirishwari here.
Hi, Nirishwari.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nirishwari,
Good
I can hear
afternoon,
you.
ma'am. Yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am. I was I was part of the insurance sector. I did my MBA in finance. I worked for two insurance companies. I've been on a break for 3 years, and my work experience is around 5 years and 2 months. I was on the
Okay.
operations side, but so I've been and my daughter started going to school a few months back. So I've been
Hmm.
looking for a job for the past 3 months. So I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know, how is the job scenario, since you are associated with HR. So I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know, how is the market right now, the job market, and how is the scenario?
Why is that you want to specifically know that particular thing? Is it the interest that you have to understand how the market scenario is, or specific to your job you want to know?
Specific to my area, of course I do get inputs on the internet and things like that, but how is the hiring scenario for Indian companies right now? Like,
Sure.
are they, as in, see, the environment is changing continuously, right? So I just wanted to
Sure.
know, so that we can look for other, if not in our field, then if we can try in some other field where we are interested, something like that.
Okay. So coming back to the larger picture, which is a job scenario, right?
Yeah.
Every individual
Yeah.
industry, take it IT, services industry, startup is a separate topic altogether, and let's say FMCG, BPO, and let's say marketing, global marketing as a separate entity altogether, and finance BPOs a separate entity altogether. It is
Yeah.
all reflected by what's happening at the global economics level, right? And
Right, right.
there are a couple of things that we have to wait and watch whether the next year, how the next year is going to look like. But as far as my experience and my network, like I have few people in BPO, I have few people in this one. Barring all the news that you keep hearing that okay, India lost the project of some, let's say 50,000 BPO account or something like that. Barring all those news that you keep hearing, but what I have been witnessing so far with my direct network, our India is getting multiple projects, right? Especially in the BPO, finance sector, and finance operations and all of that. But for people, so again, it is different with different levels of people. It will be differently impacting with different set of people. Like for HR, it impacts differently. If a marketing person asks this question, I will be probably giving a different answer. If a technology product software developer asks this, I will give a different answer. But there is no right and wrong. What I feel is opportunities are enormous. There are millions
Okay.
of job opportunities which are open. Job for her itself has done a good amount of research around what are the job opportunities which are available in India, right? And that's all a true analytics, right? And
Okay.
that is still
Because
there.
what
There is no, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, continue, continue.
Yeah, and specific to your role, right? You've done a couple of years of finance
I was, yeah,
role. Now you want to do something, but finance is a kind of domain where if it is a BPO, it's a different kind of a finance altogether. It's a back-end process. If it is an active
yeah,
e-commerce company, then it's a payable and receivables, and it's a very operational front-ending, on the ground kind of a role. If you have done that, then you may have to look at that particular thing. Depending on which company you were working, you said you were in insurance.
yeah.
Typically insurance people, if at all it's a sales bent role, then any kind of sales might be a suitable for you. But if you're a kind of person
Actually,
who wants to focus more on the finance thing, look for multinational companies which are insurance companies.
yeah.
Banking and insurance more or less work with the overlap thing. And if BPO is not your thing, and look for a startup which will help you to reignite your career altogether.
Right.
which is like
Actually,
a
my role
typical
was
9 to 5 kind.
more specific to operations and the business analyst side of the insurance. So, but
But there
mostly
are
whatever
definitely
calls
opportunities. Yeah.
yeah. So mostly what calls I was getting in the past couple of months is majorly for sales. So that's what. So that's the reason why I wanted to ask that question. Yeah. So
Hmm. So, see if at all you can think backwards, right? What other opportunities are suitable for you other than, just the sales and all that? Sales can also be conducted from wherever you are sitting. If at all you don't want to work outside of the house, and, depending on how you want to structure your life, depending on that, you can actually, there are multiple opportunities based on what sector you want to be.
okay.
So, the
Vani,
choice needs to, yeah.
sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. So, the opportunities, yeah. So the opportunities, let's say banking, insurance, there are banking retail companies. So what I observed recently, that banking retail companies are really welcoming the post maternity break or post personal related break women back into banks like Axis and HDFCs and ICICI. So they were doing good amount of drives for only welcoming back kind of an opportunity. So you can always pick that, and that's like a 9 to 5 kind of a nature of job, and a good learning to begin your career with also.
Okay. Okay.
So
Vani,
this is
how
something
is
when
this?
yeah. Sorry.
How is the scenario? The same related question I have, but how is the scenario for software testing? Is it an IT boom, or is it a recession, or is it an average? How are people welcoming people with career break for software testing?
I think it is pretty much fine. I have seen people who have come back to testing jobs after 2 years of break. 2 years, 3 years, varied amount of break. Only thing is they needed that first 3 months of reigniting, cooling period and all of that. So, but definitely I've seen, especially for testing, right? See, more than me in testing, you have manual testing and you have automation testing. For anybody to learn an automation testing, it should not take more than 1 week. Do you agree?
Yeah, correct. I agree with you.
Yes. So, and there are companies who give that opportunity. So for them, people who are coding bent of people, right? They don't want to go to testing, even if there is a need. So there are some set of people who are only interested in testing. So for them, even for the companies also, they want to hire only those set of people. They don't want to, move engineers to the QA thing, right? So companies are definitely welcoming, but with certain changes in companies like EMC Square, Dell, VMware, all of that acquisitions and changes and NetApp, Intuit, there were some of those companies have slowed down, but there are other companies which are continuing to grow. Accenture, I have heard it is continuing to grow. Capgemini is scaling up big time. JP Morgan is scaling, and Infosys, Wipro, they are scaling big time. And these are the larger ones that I'm talking about. And even the mid-level companies like Jurai Systems, Metric Stream, and all of these companies are also scaling. HP, for that matter, IBM is still scaling. So these are the companies where they are still welcoming the testing kind of opportunities. So there is no dearth of opportunities, so to say, but it is moved from one scope to another. I would say it is moved from one particular vertical to the other vertical. Some of like infrastructure companies like VMware and data mining companies and even network security companies like Dell and all of that, they have kind of slowed down, but there are other opportunities which are still open. That there is no harm to those opportunities that I have observed, I would say. But early stage startups do not want to spend much in testing, mainly because it is a SaaS based company. So I'm sure more open source the company is, less testing requirement. Am I correct?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Vani.
So,
Thank you so
but
much.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think Clara has one more question. Clara, would you like to ask that question? Just unmute yourself and do that.
Uh, yes. Hi everyone, this is Clara. Am I audible?
Hi, Clara.
Yes,
Hi,
Clara, we
Clara.
can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I took a break 6 years back, that is in 2010. After which I took up some online training opportunity and I was doing it part time. I took like 2 hours a
Mm-hmm.
day, but still I had more time because my kids are big now. So I had a lot of time. I took up masters. I finished my MTech in computer science this year. And of late, for past 4 years I am a corporate trainer in technology. I learned front end
Mm-hmm.
technologies, and then I've been training. uh, I was quite busy all this while, but these days, there maybe a newer version of my technology has come, that I'm teaching on Angular JS, so a new version has come. So I'm not sure. So the number of trainings I get are slowing down. I'm a freelance trainer, so I'm not getting
Mm-hmm.
much opportunity. So I'm just thinking whether, because I completed my masters, should I go for a full-time job where I can leave by 5:30, but I'm ready to go to office early also, or even like I want to work from home 4 days a week, but one day I want to go to office. Basically, I am bored of sitting at home, so I want to go and work to office. Sometimes I may want to work from home. Is there any opportunity like that in Chennai, or should I continue with the corporate training? What do you suggest?
Clara, this is a very, very minute level and a very specific question, but I
Question.
will
Okay.
answer very, very specific. This is so. I want to work one particular day. There is no job opportunity which is where the job posting says that only one day one person can come, 4 days he can sit at home. There is nothing that you will see online, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
these are your own personal desire or wishful thinking around the job change. So
Okay.
what, by and large, what you need is a little flexible hours of a working, right?
Yes.
So this one day, 2 days, Friday is what I want home. So nobody opens a job role which says these things. So what, in by and large, what you need to look at is something that is flexible in nature, right? Something that is, giving you a little bit of adrenaline in terms of a good amount of challenges. So one is and this is to everybody also, right? Whoever is not asked this question, if at all you want to go and work because you're sitting and feeling bored at home, never join a job, Clara.
No, see, it is not like bored in the sense
No,
when I don't go
it's
to
a
work,
different.
when I don't
No,
go for training, I feel bored. I feel I'm not doing something good for myself.
okay. So
I'm
that
not
thinking is
accomplishing
what we
something.
need to alter a little bit. So that thinking is what we need to alter a little bit, right? So the thinking,
Mm-hmm.
question your own thinking around that. Okay, I want to do this, right? So right now, I do not know what I want to do is still okay. And now that you have figured out and you want to do something around, like now that you are highly qualified as an MTech person, MTech qualified, you know Angular JS, and Angular JS is one particular skill where most of the startups are struggling to hire for the full-time
Okay.
engineers.
Okay.
Yeah, but the way the startup function is very different because wahan par you
Yeah.
need a time stretch and there is no flexibility because startups want to prove
Yeah.
everything in within that.
I know. I know.
Startup,
That's why I didn't go for it. Yes. True.
yeah, startup is exactly like a motherhood, the first infanthood, right? Like when
Mm.
the baby is still 1 year, it is 24 hours, right? You can't
Yes.
really think. So those are not the apt or a suggestible spaces unless you want to take up that challenge and unless you have that support system. But there are freelance coding assignments that you can take up, right? There are freelance coding assignments that you can take up. You can always expose yourself to. There is another one, AngelList, right? AngelList is a platform for startups. So there they would also require people on advisory and consulting for the
Mm-hmm.
startup
Angel
thing
list,
where
is
only
it?
angel list. Yeah.
Angel
So
list.
where
Okay.
okay, so angel list is one particular thing. I am not saying that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the only
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying
I understand.
in that ecosystem you try to get exposed to yourself where there are multiple founders who are not technology founders but they want technology help. What you can bring to the table is the coding skill, right? Try to take up one small assignment and test yourself out. So far you have tested yourself out in training, right?
Yes.
And training, every now and then there is new upgradation, new version coming up and all of that, and then you have to revive that and take up a training. But people, so the world is not so much open to the training classrooms right now, especially for skills like AngularJS. Unless, so these are the kind of people who have completed their electronics or electricals or mechanical engineering. They want to, they have already applied for such job, but they want to upskill themselves. They are the ones who will come, and they are very small in numbers, right? Or they have already been trained by the companies itself, right? Where it's again possible to learn AngularJS in a month's time, in a 2 months time. But people like you who already have a command in those languages can test it out by taking up freelance assignments of like multiple startups. So if at all, they can give you those flexible hours. But if you join as a full-time employee in a startup, the game changes. The game is altogether different. So test it out, become a developer for some time, and let's say 6 months or 1 year. Then the moment when you are able to give that full-time timeline to a company, then companies like Intuit and companies like eBay. eBay is again a different thing because it's shutting India operations. That's different. But companies which are e-commerce in nature, like Shopclose, Snapdeal, there is Stazera, there's Flipkart, there's Amazon, which are again hiring for those skills.
Okay. You mean to say freelance developer options, right? Freelance coding options. That is what you suggest, right?
Attempt
Thank you.
yourself there because you want
Yes,
to be
yes.
flexible. So take up a freelance. The moment when you feel that you are now equipped enough to
Comfortable.
take up a full-on challenge, you
Time.
can transition there.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys, one last question if anybody wants to ask.
Um, where, Vani, Soumya here.
Yeah, and yeah.
Where, which platform do you exactly suggest to look into these if we want to upgrade our skill in the IT sector, be it any IT sector, be it testing, be it development, for trainings and certifications, which is, you have anything in mind where we can
I
look
recommend
for?
Coursera because it's a very validated one. Coursera is what I recommend. That's a very, very validated one. You may have to pay there to attend that platform. But so so why I recommended Coursera is not because I have taken a technology training in Coursera, because real validated set of people like Amod Malviya, Mekin Maheshwari of Flipkart, people who are real solid senior engineers of Practo have been recommending that to the juniors. That is how I'm recommending that to people here, especially for the IT, upskilling themselves in IT.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So, yeah. Any more questions, ladies?
Fine, I think we don't have any more questions coming up. So we'll wind up the
Sure.
session.
It was useful and.
Yeah, Vani, you were saying something?
Yeah, I hope it was useful and I'm able to kind of at least cover the critical ones that they wanted to ask.
Yeah, it was very, very helpful. In fact, this is just a snapshot of what the mentoring roadshow is going to be. So, ladies, please attend the mentoring workshop where you'll be able to have a face-to-face interaction with Vanishri, and many more questions can get answered over there. Thank you so much, Vanishri, for your time, and this was really, really helpful for
Sure, sure.
all the questions that came up. Thank you so much. And I've shared the link with you
Sure,
all to
sure, sure.
register for the event. You all can just click onto that and register yourself. Thank you, Vani. You can log
Great,
off
great.
now.
I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you all, ladies. Bye, Soumya. Bye, Kushali.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.